Hello guys, welcome everyone to another episode of Michi's Esport Diary, and I welcome you after a 2 weeks period this time. As you all know, I have been infected with Corona, and probably one can still hear it that I'm still kind of dealing with it. So, whereas I'm negative for a good week now, it's still the fact that this infection isn't quite easy to deal with, I can tell you. It is, obviously I'm 2-time vaccinated, but it is not just like a standard infection, a standard flu or whatever. I know every organism or every person may react different on it, but I saw it on my end, and obviously I saw it on my girlfriend's end. It is a bit of a harder thing than just the cold. You really you're so low on energy, you don't feel like doing anything when it peaks, and yeah, it's certainly something I don't need a second time, that's for sure. But anyway, that is gone for good, hopefully, and we have more or less fully recovered from it. Still some nose fluid, whatever, is still around that I can just get not rid of it really. But anyway, we're coming to the actual thing, the Esport Diary, and obviously I've fallen behind of work a little bit. For that reason, right up here, another time, the video where I ask you guys about the rFactor 2 competition system, or the rFactor 2 system in general. What is the features? What is the the new things, or what is the options, the features, the functionality you're missing of the system? Hit that video, give your comments in the comment area below. And then in the next 1 or 2 weeks, I will sit down and go through all those comments in the episode of an Esport Diary. Right, sorry. Anyway, let's come to the actual topic. This week has been rather interesting, of course. We have been recovering, we've had attraction, GG stream going up. Other than that, though, we experienced a little bit of a downtime in general. It is for the very ever first time that I have been missing races due to being sick for, I don't know. Feels like it's never been the case, but I think I missed a race once back then when I did not do this in competitive esports style. So 10 years back, 8 years back, 9 years back, something like that. Perhaps that was the last time I was missing a race due to being sick. And I didn't want to miss those races, but you know, Thursday GPVWC, I was like, my body was completely smashed. Like, I gotta quote my girlfriend here. On Wednesday, she found me lying on the couch, sleeping, 4 p.m. So in the middle of the day. And she was looking at me and was like, shit, that dude is really struggling. Because in the 2.5 to 3 years of our relationship, there was not a single occasion where she had found me sleeping in the middle of the day. So on that moment, she knew, okay, this, whatever it is inside him, it has pulled the plug, and there is a lot of recharge necessary right now. So, and that was pretty much the case for Thursday. Saturday, the Virtual Endurance Championship. First of all, massive thank you to Jenny and David for finishing off that race in style and for covering my back on the 1,000 miles of Sebring. Wasn't an easy race, with starting in the dry, then full wet, and I mean really full wet. The rain was pouring down. Oh my gosh, so bad in between. Yet they've overcome all those difficulties and have done a really cracking job on finishing the car 1 and 2, just P1, sorry, for over 1,000 miles. And I'm really glad and grateful for them to have backed me up on that day. Obviously I wanted to drive, obviously I wanted to assist the team. At least I could do the stream. But even just doing the stream, sitting there 8.5 hours, I was gone for 2 or 3 hours too, because I just didn't 100% feel like it, you know. And then obviously Sunday, the FSR Malaysian Grand Prix, and yeah, that was probably the hardest decision I had to do, because Sunday I felt like I could do the race again, but we made that call on Friday, because obviously I needed David to have the chance to be a little bit prepared. So thank you, David, for jumping in and for replacing. But yeah, I haven't seen the appeal decisions on Friday, I think, after we made the call. I was happy that we did make the call, because I don't know. I just would not wanted to have raced in those circumstances. Being still not 100% able, and having those appeal decision seen, or having those appeal decision to swallow. Yeah, I just didn't feel like racing in the FSR series on that weekend. It's as simple as that. Will I come back? Yeah, probably. Will I take it seriously? I don't know. This series, with what happened in the first 2 races, has taken a serious hit for myself. I have obviously been in circumstances which I do not want to compete in any kind of way in 2018. And yeah, currently I see some similarities between that. And I have, you know, there is this game, or there is this story about rabbit and, damn, what is this little animal called with a lot of needles on the back? Can't remember. Would need a dictionary right now. But basically the story is, there is a rabbit which is obviously extremely fast, and then there is this animal with a lot of needles in the back, and they've done a race in a landscape, and the rabbit was giving it everything, sprinting as fast as I could, but every single time the little animal with the needles on the back has been first on the destination. And the reason that was because it was 2 of those animals, one at the start, one at the finish line, and the rabbit always believed that it's obviously the same thing. The end of the story is the rabbit then died because of complete exhaustion, and the little animal with the needles on the back has just won because of, well, some would say because of being smart, others would say because of cheating. And see, that is not the kind of environment I want to really race in competitively. So yeah, I have said that I want to go for the title in FSR this year. I have said that I want to try and win those championships, both team championship and the drivers championship, of course. And I will step away from those targets, and we'll just try to see those Sunday evening races as a little bit of fun. Maybe I'm gonna do 7 last to first challenges. Maybe I'm just gonna race normally, but maybe I just also don't care. You know, being sent off on the gravel, don't care, because it's irrelevant anyway. And that is really what made to abstain on Sunday relatively easy in the end. Usually I would have done everything in my in my forces to be able to race, to be able to gather points in the FSR championship. But with current situations and appeal decisions, this desire has been just taken completely away from my end. I know that many people will be like, what is this guy all on about? And maybe people will be like, he's completely over-exaggerating the situation. But I can tell you something, that situation is something subjective. Everyone needs to judge for himself. And I have done that. Others have done that for them. And I know that the guys like Red Bull, they will do the talking on track. They've done the talking amazingly well in Malaysia. I could do the talking on track as well. That's not the point. I will probably do the talking on track as well. But here is where the story between the rabbit and that little animal with the needles on the back comes into play. If I feel too much like a rabbit, then I don't care. Then I'll let them race, let them do whatever they want. But I'm just not gonna invest energy, nor time, nor effort, nor my good mood into an environment where I don't feel like I can achieve everything that I want just from being good enough. I mean, obviously that always is the case, but I guess you guys know what I mean. And I have worded this differently after the Imola Grand Prix. I have seen stuff again. Obviously, I've watched the race. Obviously, we have filed some protests again. And I really, you know, that there is the other thing. I don't want the FSR administration to be drowned in protests and whatnot. So whatever they will deal with it right now, whatever comes out of that right now, I'm just gonna leave it. Most likely, I'm not going to further protest or appeal stuff because it's pointless. It takes time away from everyone, takes joy away from everyone, and probably that is the better statement to all that. Just be careless about everything. What happens, happens. What not happens, doesn't happen. And at the end of the 10-race season, we're all going to say goodbye and thanks for the time. And that's going to be it then. But let's see. There is a lot of conspiracy right now there. I know that certain people will look at this video then and be laughing and saying this guy's completely mad and completely stupid and whatnot. So okay, fair enough. If that's your opinion, then go for it. I'm not harmed by that. I just give a very honest opinion of what is happening in my head, what's happening in my mind, and how I feel about situations, how I feel about those activities, I want to say, that are going on there right now, which I don't feel very nice about it. Anyway, we leave that topic behind. That was the past weekend. Ever since Tuesday I'm back to work, so also been back to streaming, and we have a schedule coming up. We have an interesting weekend coming up, and I think it will be quite a tough one. Not just because of the time investment that is about to come up, but also because of the overall seriousness that are behind. We're facing 5 different races in the next 6 days. Next 7 days, actually. And we've had a great start, actually. An unexpectedly well start to the iRacing Grand Prix Tour that has appeared for us to be the case yesterday. It was an interesting race. It is, I have the notes here, a 23 race series in 23 weeks. So I am not 100% sure if I'm able to do all of them. There are certainly some I want to skip. Mount Panorama, I see there. There was some more stupid tracks. Belle Isle. I think that's about it. Those are the really two stupid ones. Then Solder is actually not so nice of a one too. But let's see. On the other hand, we got very interesting races to do with that Mercedes F1 car. Around Sebring, around Barcelona, Long Beach, I don't know. But Hungaroring, Spa, Watkins Glen Circuit of the Americas, and Road America. That's races I'm looking forward to. Anyway, yesterday the first race was done. 60 laps around the Nürburgring. It has been an intense race. We've had an average qualifying, I would say. Started. Where did we start? Just have a look where we started and have a look at the race, because it was really great to. It will be great for you guys to watch. It was nail-biting action for most of the part. It was a very tactical race, and personally, I'd say I have been very smart on it. And well, not perfectly smart, but very smart. We've done a very, very long-term thought into the race. So that means I have been waiting for opportunities in the first third of the race. Then I've went for the active part in the second third of the race. In the end, I was just reacting and managing. And then we took home an astonishingly, for God's sake, astonishingly, whatever. An astonishing race result. Whatever. My brain's still dead. I need to look up for the word that I was trying to spell out. I took away a great result from it, a great start to the season. Really, really rewarding. It was the first ever race on iRacing where I did driving for more than 1.5 hours under full pressure. And in the last lap, we had a little bit of a slide. That was the only thing though. The only big mistake. Well, bigger mistake. No off tracks, no spins. There was a 0x car contact in the beginning phase. But 0x, I couldn't quite believe 0x in my current iRacing safety license is as good as it never has been. It's A420 or so. And I got plus 050 without making it into the 4s. So it's now 4.70, 4.71. It is so incredibly good, and the safety rating gain has been astonishing. Really, really rewarding. Great championship points, and it seems like that this car is suiting me a lot better, even on iRacing, than many of the other cars on the iRacing system. Not even speaking about the iRating that I've took away. So I think I've now got more iRating than back then in December when I restarted to do iRacing, where I was starting to plummet down in the beginning. So that is really rewarding. Beyond that, it has obviously just been the first race, and the next race is coming up next Sunday in the iRacing Grand Prix Tour, 19:30 Central European Time. There will be a stream plan coming this week, where we race around Solder for 77 laps. We're going to see how good that goes, but anyway, that was a good start to that season. And next up, tomorrow evening, 9 PM Central European Time, we will be live with the race of the season 1 on the rFactor 2 competition system, the mighty BMW M4 GT3. We have done qualifying for that, I think 4 weeks back, maybe even 5 weeks back, with 141.4, which puts us 11th on the grid for Sunday. Arguably, I could have taken this a lot more serious, and I could have gone a lot higher up. So I think after more laps I could have done a 0.2 which would give me P4 or P5 even. So like that 141.2 to 141.56, I think 15 cars in between that that area. So that is quite some competitive field on there. It will be interesting to see how this race goes. We will have to do a pit stop. The tank size has been minimized for this race to force a pit stop. And from that point onwards, I gotta say that it will be interesting, that's for sure. Daytona is known for a lot of slipstreaming from iRacing. How much that will play a role in that race coming up, I don't know. It will be fairly important that even if we start 11th and we're doing a rolling start, that we do not lose the contact to the leaders. As long as we can stay in a huge pack and be smart, strategy-wise we can maybe jump a spot or two. But most importantly, we will need to do moves slowly but surely throughout the grid. So even if we may be in the back end of a train, we need to somehow see that we work ourselves through towards the front within that train to then be in the opportunity in the end to maybe go for a top 3 spot, as there will be nice trophies handed out. So that's going to be great to get one. But let's face it, I don't think, like, starting from 11th on the grid will be quite tough to make it into the top 3. But let's see, maybe we can do the job. Anyway, that isn't the only thing happening. As I said, there will be a stream plan out. Next week there is the ERL Cup. So the Esport Racing League Cup on rFactor 2. After a not so good result again for the Burst Esport guys on Assetto Corsa Competizione with the Mercedes in Misano, we're now coming back to our prone, to our big simulation where we're really good at, which is rFactor 2. And the mighty Formula Pro car. I've driven that car so often in the last couple of weeks, I am nearly fed up with it. Despite, I gotta say that I do love this Formula Pro car. It is the most tricky car to drive. But you have to be so much on point. And since I have been asked about that comparison between iRacing and rFactor 2, the iRacing Mercedes and the rFactor 2 Formula Pro car, they are quite similar and quite different in the same aspect. I'm gonna explain on this. The iRacing Mercedes has so much grip. For iRacing it has like a tons shed load of grip. As much grip as you're never ever gonna find again in that sim. But you're not allowed to drive this car very aggressively at all. You need to be very gentle on the throttle, not pushing the car around corners as you just eat up the tires. You just have to drive it within a certain range, within a certain window. And that is the same with a Formula Pro car. You cannot push that Formula Pro car as much. Difference between those cars is the Mercedes can be pushed for the costs of tires and tire temperature. The Formula Pro car cannot be pushed at all. If you start to over push that car, you're just going to understeer, you're just going to lose more grip and even more pace. Besides that, obviously you overheat the tires and stuff. So on that regard, those cars are pretty similar, despite they obviously behave in a different manner, but that's a different topic. Anyway, we don't know which track is coming up yet. The track selection vote will start on this Tuesday. We have no idea. We hope for something good. It's going to be fixed setup, which is great. This is the biggest struggle for us in ACC, since you cannot put a fixed setup. And then I guess, yeah, we give it everything that we can. We give it our best to score vital, important points in that championship, to not go into relegation later on. So hopefully we can skip that. That will need a very good rFactor 2 result. Not only, but also needs a better iRacing result than last time, which will be again in this V8 Holden Super Cup in 2 weeks' time. So that's going to be interesting. Thursday then, GPVWC coming up. It's going to be my first race then in the series, since I skipped Imola for the well-known reasons. We're going to start with the Bahrain Grand Prix. We're going to have to do some preparation for that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday perhaps, although Wednesday and Tuesday is basically blocked for ERL. So we're going to get unprepared into that race, but I'm looking forward to hopefully have a good one. I don't know really what to expect. I'm jumping in, we'll see how good it goes, and then afterwards take my decisions on how to go on with that in the future. So that will be a good stream for you guys to watch. I missed that. ERL on Wednesday, that was 18:50, 18:45, I think we go live with that, maybe 18:30 before the briefing. 18:30. 18:15, 18:15, 18:15, something like that. Thursday we're going to be live 20:30 before the qualifying goes, and then obviously with a full Grand Prix distance race. Friday, qualifying for the GDR24 Monza, the 12 hours of Monza. After the last time with a great qualifying, we hope to just do it again. Taking pole position obviously gives us an extra point for the championship. There's going to be 2 qualifyings. Qualifying 1 from 19 to 21 CET, then half an hour break, and qualifying 2 from 21:30 to 23:30. I may going to stay live in between that period, and we're just going to do a little bit of a Q&A in between. Perhaps. I'm just thinking about it. I could also show this esports diary. We can do that as a watch party. That would probably be great. Anyway, that's going to do it for this one. And then obviously Sunday, the iRacing Grand Prix Tour. The stream plan will be published fairly soon. And then obviously after the qualifying on Friday for the 12 hour of Monza, of course we're going to have the 12 hours of Monza in a full onboard action. We got exclusively the right to produce onboards for the number 18 DPI Burst Esport machine, and yeah, we're looking forward having all 4 drivers again on board. Jene Simoncic, David Mrozek, our engineer Jesper Pedersen, who's going to take the car to the end again probably. Maybe also starting the race. We need to see how we do that strategy wise, and then obviously I'm gonna take some parts in between for driving the DPI around Monza. Guys, it was a long video, it was a long time. Qualifying in F1 just has been done by the time you see this video. We're not looking bright for being a Mercedes fan, let's just say that so far. Obviously it's noon right now, so qualifying hasn't taken place yet, but yeah, it's going to be interesting. Anyway, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this one. That's going to do it for this episode of Michi's Esport Diaries. I hope you have a good weekend. I hope you have some fun. I hope you will enjoy F1, and stay safe, everyone. Have a good time, and then we see you next week for a busy week of streaming. See you guys. Goodbye.